All right, guys, today we're going to be looking at first-hand and second-hand accounts. What is something you know about a first-hand account? Mm-hmm.
First-hand account is written by someone, and like with I, me, mine.
Do you know what we call that? What kind of point of view is that?
First-hand.
First-hand or first person point of view, right? Does anybody know anything about a second-hand account? So a first-hand account is written by someone, and they use the words like I, me, my. They're writing it themselves. What kind of text could be a first-hand account? A diary.
A newspaper.
Wouldn't.
Not necessarily.
So if a newspaper is not a first-hand account, what kind of account do you think it is?
Third.
Okay. It's a third person, and here's where it gets tricky because I'm saying the word second-hand account, and that is third person point of view. You see how that's tricky? And a first-hand account is a first person point of view. So you're right. A newspaper is not written really from someone's point of view. Someone's telling someone else's story. So a diary is a great first-hand account, and a newspaper is a great second-hand account. Okay? So what we're going to do today is we're going to read two different stories. And when we're done reading, we're going to figure out which story is a first-hand account and which story is a second-hand account. We're also going to think about how are these stories similar and how are they different. So what are we doing today, Piper?
Doing first-hand and second.
Perfect. And what else are we doing, Peyton? We want to see the first-hand and the second-hand account, and we also at the end want to talk about how they're similar and different. Perfect. Okay, so let's look at the first account right here. Diary entry of John White. I haven't even started reading, but I know I need to figure out which text is a first-hand and which text is a second-hand account. Without even reading this, can I already tell?
Yeah.
How?
It's a diary.
It says diary, so I know that this is going to be a
First person.
written in first person. All right, let's look at the first word, point to it, and let's read it together. Grief pains my heart at this very time. It was 3 years ago that I departed the shores of Roanoke in the new land of North Carolina. When I left, our ship of people had just landed. Men were building homes for each of the colonists. Okay, let's stop there. I'm going to keep going and you're going to follow along. I have just returned. The land is empty. Still, I do not understand why. There was enough food. It could have lasted everyone at least 2 years. They could have planted seeds and had enough time to grow more food. This area is an ideal location for a colony to be formed. Okay, keep reading with me. The only thing that I see left are the letters C-R-O. Let's pause right there for a minute. The reason why we didn't say crow is because it says I see the letters, and do you see how those are capitalized? When we see that in a text, we know we are going to just say each letter. Okay, let's keep going. Carved onto one tree. C-R-O-T-O-A-N is etched onto another tree. Were they captured by Native Americans? Before I left, our relationship with the Native Americans was hostile. Let's pause. Anybody know what hostile means? It's not good. If you're in a he said my relationship or the town's relationship with the Native Americans was very hostile. Think about what you already know about the Native Americans and the Americans. Their relationship with each other. Was it necessarily good? No. So what do you think? They're fighting over land. So hostile means that it can be very dangerous. There might be a little bit of violence there. Okay, I'm going to finish it off for us. They killed 15 men that settled that area before my wife and everyone else settled there. That is the only reasonable explanation that I can imagine. I must convince England to send out a search party to find my wife and baby as well as the rest of the colonists that I left here are here at Roanoke, okay? I want you to look through it. I'm going to give you about a minute, and it's okay if you can use your pencil to underline. I want you to underline some examples of how this was a first-hand account. share for me one, Peyton? What was an example that you chose that made you know this was a first-hand account?
I read down here at the second paragraph. It said, "I have just returned."
And it says, I. What did you put?
It says, think of 15 men that settled the area before my wife.
Before my wife and I. Good. What did you put?
I put the only thing that I see left are the letters CRO.
So he's actually telling you what he sees, what he experienced, who he went with, what happened while he was there. We get a lot of detail because he was actually on the island, saw what happened, lived there for a while before he had to leave. Okay? So far, we know that this one, because it was a diary, and because we've proven that it has the words like I, my wife, that this was the first-hand account. Okay? What was this story about?
John Knight and
And what were they doing? It says, grief pains my heart at this very time. Why is he upset?
because his family's gone, or because he felt like he was betrayed.
He doesn't know what happened to his family. Something happened to them. Maybe someone betrayed them. So he returns from England to find that his whole family's missing. Not only his family's missing, but all the people that he arrived with a few months ago, they're gone. Wouldn't that be kind of creepy? Kind of sounds like one of those scary movies that you would see. Oh, you know, went back to England, I come back, where's my wife and my baby? And where's the whole town that I left, you know, a few months ago? Kind of creepy. Okay, we're gonna read the next passage, and we can probably already guess it's the second-hand account, right? We want to know why it's the second-hand account, but we also remember we want to go back to figuring out how are these two stories related, okay? So the England News, you just pointed that out to me. So what is this probably going to be? Second-hand account, because it's what type of text? A news report, and it says October 12th, 1565. That's usually something we see in a newspaper, and newspapers are second-hand accounts. Usually someone goes and they'll interview people, and they'll gather information, if they do it correctly, and they'll take those facts and they'll create a story for a newspaper, okay? So again, we're gonna read and we're gonna think about how is this a second-hand account, and how is it similar to the story we just read, okay? Read with me. After nearly 10 years of going missing, England sent a search crew. Their goal was to find out what happened to the men, women, and children of Roanoke Colony. 115 people settled in Roanoke, North Carolina. This was nearly 10 years ago. Let's pause. How long has it been since they've gone missing? 10 years. Until now, right? You're just now sending people? It's been 10 years. So that guy's kid's probably 12 years old at this point. All right, let's keep going. England sent a search crew to find out what happened. The search force sailed to Delaware Bay in Delaware. Wait. Where did the people go missing? From Roanoke, which is located where? North Carolina. Where do they just send people?
Delaware.
Kind of a strange place to send a search party that's not even related to where they went missing. All right, let's keep going. The men from this voyage were interviewed for this article. According to the men, the new land is an area rich with wildlife. It could make one wealthy. As their boats sailed past the coastline, they did not see anything odd. They think that the colonists moved to another area. What's weird about that?
They didn't move.
As they passed the coastline, did they even get off the boat?
No.
They're like, nope, I don't see any colonists. They probably moved. What kind of search party is that?
And they weren't even there in the first place.
They weren't even in the right area. Kind of strange. Okay, let's keep going. During the journey, the English search crew were able to trap more than 150 otters and beavers. The pelts were brought back to England. With the popularity of fur in England, this could make these men a small fortune. Does the ending of this story have anything to do with